train on sore legs? Should we even train on sore legs at all? Should we expect ourselves to feel almost fresh every single time we go for a workout?
What's up guys, I'm Holly and welcome back to my YouTube channel. A couple weeks ago I did a video on how I run and strength train simultaneously all year long. Talked about all the benefits I get from both weightlifting and running, how I manage both, and how I plan out my weekly schedule of workouts. I was really excited to see how many of you guys have already found a way to combine these two in your life. Strength training and running, you found a good balance and you feel like you're getting something out of it. But a good chunk of you guys also wrote to me saying, look, I want to do both, but I'm really having trouble identifying when I'm hovering against that line of overtraining. You're going to have to get used to working on sore legs, but you're also going to have to get used to identifying when it's too much.
All right guys, I had to come inside. It was extremely noisy out there with lawnmowers, etc. The final thing I'm going to talk about in this video is to those of you who are transitioning into doing both, from just being a runner or just being a weightlifter. The mental side of that and addressing new goals without losing confidence is really a huge factor to consider. If you're someone who's always been on Strava comparing yourself to other runners and going completely off of speed and how you stack up next to the people you've always run with, you might be feeling a little down in the dumps as you start to implement some weight training in place of 1 or 2 runs a week. What you need to do is just keep a stable mind there. I'm going to give you all my tips and tricks to make sure you see the bigger picture of what you're gaining rather than what you're losing. Now, in order to kind of break down what it looks like physically to overtrain or get close to that burnout period, we need to first understand what is soreness and what's injury. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to mostly be covering soreness. So in general, soreness is usually felt evenly on both sides of your body. So you might have sore quads, sore calves, maybe sore shoulders from a lift, something like that. Injury is usually going to be from something you can specifically remember. I rolled my ankle on a trail run. My knee twisted when I did a box jump and landed wrong. I hurt my shoulder on 1 rep of an overhead press. I felt it kind of twinge. Things like that would be more considered injury. Soreness is going to be, I feel it on both sides, maybe a little uneven depending on form. We can kind of favor one leg or the other, but you're feeling it usually the next day. It's that delayed onset muscle soreness is what they say. It's those micro tears in the muscle that is part of building strength. I want to be clear about that. When we break down, we build back up stronger. That's the whole point of working out in the first place, but they're micro tears. It's small, and we again are able to kind of recover just with that sleep overnight. Now that we've got that covered, how do we train on sore legs? Should we even train on sore legs at all? Should we expect ourselves to feel almost fresh every single time we go for a workout? We first start with things we can control. Between workouts, as we start to implement new things into our training system, are we eating, drinking, recovering, sleeping, rolling out enough in between workouts to give ourselves the best shot at adapting to this new sort of volume? Now, from personal experience, I'll tell you guys that a different type of workout I'm not used to usually feels the same as if I were to add on an additional day of a workout I usually do. So for example here, say I usually run 5 days a week. My body's probably gonna feel the same level of soreness from adding a 6th day of running as it would if I subbed out the 5th day of running for maybe a strength workout or a HIIT class. So even though it's a different way to change things up, the body is still getting used to something that's different. That being said, in your current training plan, how much are you changing right now? If it's gonna be small changes over the course of several weeks, you're probably gonna see less of a beat up on your body. If you're someone who just ran and now you've decided I'm revamping my whole plan, I'm gonna half run, half strength train each week, you're gonna notice a lot of change quickly. So from that list of things we can control, make sure you're doing everything you can to optimize that, matching the calories you need, really focusing on that extra recovery, really focusing on the sleep portion to give your body its best shot at adjusting quickly. Now, inevitably, we all get to that day where we're very sore and we're supposed to do a hard workout. When you're sore, it's actually a good thing. Like I mentioned, we break down to build back up in that strength. So it is a good thing to be sore. Should you be sore every single day, excruciatingly? Absolutely not. If you are, you're doing too much on each of the days, or you're never giving yourself that recovery day once to twice a week. Those two things really make a big difference. If you're still sore, even with your recovery days, every single day, you're still sore, you're doing too much on those individual workouts. You're gonna wanna dial it back either in reps if you're in the gym, in mileage if you're out on a run, in speed if you're out on a run. Start playing with little pieces you can mix with. Now, what I found to be pretty standard for me as far as training volume goes is being sore about 3 to 4 days a week. So 1 to 2 of those days, probably really sore, tough to sit down, stand up a little bit. The other 2 days, I am, forgetting I'm sore after I get up and move around. So once I get some blood flow, it's really not that bad. Now, we all have different training goals, of course, but I've found that if you're week after week really sore every single day, you're probably approaching a period of just either physical burnout, mental burnout. You're never feeling like you're quite getting back to normal. Your cortisol levels might be out of whack. You might notice that you're not ever satiated when you're eating. You're always tired, those kinds of things. You're probably in the overtraining category. On the other side of things, if you're never sore, you're probably due for a little upgrade to your training plan. If you never really feel any residual soreness from what you're doing, you're not really putting your body in different scenarios for it to sustain its strength or grow its strength. Same goes for speed with running or performance in running. If we're not, adjusting things to push ourselves a little bit, at least a few days a week, we probably could stand to increase the load of our training volume or just the difficulty. All right, let's start to connect some dots here. So we've figured out what our right training volume is for us right now, but we are working in that running and strength training in combination, and maybe it's new to us. So we find ourselves, a lot of you already have, at this place of, I just did heavy legs in the gym yesterday and I'm supposed to run today. Mentally, how do we get past that? How do we do it on those sore, tired legs? How do we trust that we're gonna be able to perform, get through that, and get the benefits from it? I want to remind you guys how strong our minds are, especially in relation to our body. If you've never been through a long race or felt those kind of highs and lows, one moment you're feeling great, the next you're not, but then suddenly you're feeling great again, you maybe haven't gotten to this place of training or exercising where your mind controls how your body performs. This is one of the reasons I love this type of compound training with the strength and running. It breaks things up enough such that it gives you little pockets and windows, opportunity to use your mind to your advantage, right? We wake up on these sore, tired legs, right? We're tired, we know we did this workout the day before, and our mind might start to go to a place of, well, I'm not ready to do this run. I'm already worked from the day before. Instead, what you could do is switch your mentality to think, okay, this is what I did the day before. Maybe I'm working with less right now. Why don't I give it 10 minutes just to see what happens? Maybe I just start with a light walk, take it up to a jog, see if I sort of start to adjust. It's really cool to watch your body get into the mode when you thought you couldn't initially. We wouldn't get very far in life if we only did things when we felt 100% ready to do them, right? And the same goes for our training. I like to kind of think of these moments of getting out the door when we're not quite 100% as this building stockpile of reasons to believe in ourselves. I've talked about this in other videos before, but that's really where self-confidence and high performance by nature come from, right? We are looking back on those moments, all those little moments where we did it anyway, and we're able to trust ourselves to get through hard things as a result. If you're a beginner watching this, I urge you guys to seek out moments like this. They are what lay the foundation for you believing in yourself, getting confident in your training, and overall sticking to your plan. So many people fall off because they're waiting to feel perfect every single day. That's just not gonna happen. Yes, I'm a masochist myself in ways when it comes to training. I love a tough race, tough training day, but I do know where the line is. I promise you that if you can get out the door when your legs aren't 100% and you give your best effort in that workout, no matter how fast or how pretty it looks, you are gonna benefit from that, especially if you have at least 1 or 2 of those experiences each week. Now guys, I share with you my master list, my major bullet points, mental and physical combined, of how I stay right in that sweet spot, avoiding the overtraining, but getting the most out of every single workout, seeing those results over time and on race days if I have them. Number 1, guys, the best way to not get injured, especially as it relates to overuse, is to move well daily. Whether you're in the gym or out on that run, the better you can move, the better form you can maintain from start to finish is gonna give you your best shot at not getting hurt. Remember, if you don't feel like you can hold your form, but you know what it's supposed to look like, you're probably doing too much. On the other side, if you don't even know what the form looks like, you need to research that before you get in too deep. Ask a coach, look up videos online. There's some on my channel, there's other channels, ways to reference, squats, lunges, box jumps, burpees. What are the proper ways to do these things? Our body was meant to do it in a specific way, keeping things aligned, making sure we can maintain that over several reps. Same goes for running. If you don't feel like you can keep those hips forward, you feel like you're always looking at the ground, your calves are screaming constantly, you're probably not running properly. That might even mean you need to slow things down. Number 2 is that my physical endurance and mental strength rely heavily on my workouts that happen on tired legs. Not being 100% is the greatest gift I have in teaching myself how to do more with less. Number 3 is to never compare today's 100% with yesterday's 100%. Each day should be treated as its own. If we fixate, we analyze, we wonder why we feel better or worse on each individual day, we take away from the energy we could be putting towards the actual workout itself. There's a big reason that when I write run workouts for people, I say, okay, you're gonna run for 2 minutes at a 7 out of 10 effort on speed, rather than saying, today you're gonna run 2 miles at a 10:30 pace. I don't know what else is going into that day for them. I don't know how they feel from yesterday. All those things have to be in combination. I trust my athlete to make those adjustments and go off of 7 out of 10 for them that day. Number 4 is that we need to embrace change. New goals, setting new goals for ourselves is a very exciting thing. I don't want you guys to take away from that by fixating on old goals. If you were someone who just ran or just strength trained, you were probably working off very specific numbers and paces. You had one way of doing things. A lot of you guys have written to me that you've been so obsessed with Strava that it's almost ruined your progress because you're so hyper aware of how your running pace stacks up to someone else. Again, the app doesn't know what other factors go into your life. If you've decided to implement some strength training, know that you're gonna have some time to adjust here. Maybe you do feel a little more sore, a little more weighed down on your run. That's okay because you're getting overall benefit from that added strength, that extra injury prevention, that extra longevity. On the other side of the coin, you're coming from a strength training only world. Maybe you're losing a little bit of muscle mass as soon as you start to up that cardio. Maybe you can't lift as much initially. That's okay. These are new goals. It's not that you've lost anything, lost any energy. What's happening is you're just reallocating that. You've decided you want to implement the benefits of doing both. Accept that. Accept that these are the new goals and you're getting something from it. You're not taking away. Now I want to share with you guys an anecdote I just recently heard around the concept of jealousy. I'm taking this from a podcast I love called The Skinny Confidential, but they're talking about when you're jealous of someone, you really like their clothes, you're jealous of how big their house is, you wish you made as much money as them or had as many friends. Think about it this way. Are you jealous enough of them that you would actually trade places with them? Would you give up your life to have theirs? I think we can apply the exact same thing to our training. Yes, we look at our Strava app and we say, he's running a 7-minute mile, I'm running an 8-minute mile, I'm worse than him. But we are not factoring in anything else related to that 7-minute mile. As you start to implement some strength training in, or your strength training starting to implement some running, and things start to change for you, remember in the front of your mind why you're doing it. Are you trying to find more balance in your life from a mental perspective? Are you trying to find less injury, less pain? Are you trying to get involved with multiple communities? All those things happen together. So when we get so hyper fixated on he lifted more than me, she lifted more than me, I'm worse than her, those things take away from our progress forward. And I really love that concept. I just think it's so important to remember if you wouldn't totally change and give up everything about how you're doing things, you're not on a bad path, you're not on a worse path. Whether you're running, strength training, doing both in combination like I've described, I hope you guys feel accomplished. It is not easy to show up day after day. I really am proud of you guys for doing it. The final piece of advice I'm gonna leave you guys with is to not neglect your rest days. I know it's so tempting in the beginning to just get addicted to that progress. Day after day, you're getting faster, stronger, you never wanna let up. But if you don't work those rest days in early, you're going to eventually hit burnout or overtraining or injury, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. 1 rest day a week, maybe 1 rest day every 10 days. Give your body time to repair, kind of catch back up to get you stronger and more ready to do more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was so much information, but I hope it helped you in some way. I will see you in the next one.